Sile, kia ora. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Shimi and currently I am working as a registered nurse in New Zealand. Now, as promised in my last video that I will bring this out about the ground reality of, Health New Zealand at a current state. Actually, there is a lot going on with the registered nurses. So in this video, I'm going to share everything in detail so that I can create an awareness to all my fellow nurses, those who are planning to step on this process, or those who are already on the process, or those who are even thinking of coming here, or start the process with the agent or with New Zealand Nursing Council. So with this you will get a clear information about it. So without any further ado, let's start the video. Now, I really don't know how many of you are aware that there is a lot going on with the registered nurses in New Zealand. And let me make it clear that there are thousands of nurses already in a queue who has already done their CAP, who has met all the criteria, done the OSCE, and having a registration with the New Zealand Nursing Council, but still left with no job offer. Now, not only 1, 2, 3, or 10, there are thousands of nurses who are in a queue just to get a job offer from one of the employer. Now, with the Health New Zealand, they are not confident enough to appoint or take overseas nurses, especially the nurses who have a background of coming from India, Philippines. They are not accepting because as per them, they are believing that whatever the standard of practice which we followed in our country is not up to the mark, which can be practiced here. So that is the reason why the employers are very hesitant, even with the aged care or any other private hospitals. Even they are hesitant to provide a accredited employer visa to any overseas nurses. Now, this is happening since long because I knew that it was there. It was all over the news, but I didn't believe that the seriousness of that situation until I was approached by one of the registered nurses who are already on this process. Now, I've also came to know through one of my mates who have a friend, and they are also struggling to get a job from one of the employers. And they said, like, they literally tried everywhere. They tried DHB, they tried aged care, private hospital, but no one is willing to take them, even though they have a experience of 10 years. Some have like more than 14 years, some like 15 years, but still they are very hesitant to take them as a registered nurse or to work with them in their company. So that is the current situation which is happening all over in New Zealand. Now, some of the nurses who are already at the verge of going back because their 9-month visa has expired, and now they are going back, which is quite heartbreaking because I know like how it feels, because I have also come from the same background. I could tell you, like, even after putting all your hard work, your money and everything, and later on if you are asked to leave the country just because you don't have a valid job offer from one of the employer, it's quite heartbreaking for the registered nurses. Now, even when I came last year, I had a hard time getting a job. You wouldn't believe, I have applied more than 35 or I would say 40 applications to the DHB or any other aged care, but I didn't get a job anywhere. But luckily I met a person through my CAB training, and then I met a family and they were welcoming and they treated me as one of them, and that's how I got a job through the reference. Because in New Zealand, I don't know about any other country, but in New Zealand the reference is given a top priority. If you are given a reference by anyone who has worked here or who has a good relationship with the employer, then there is a chance that you can ace a job in one of the company in New Zealand. Now, that is exceptional. It is not implied to all the registered nurses. So that's the reason why the RNs are suffering in New Zealand at the moment. One more important thing, let me explain you that the New Zealand Nursing Council and Health New Zealand has nothing to do with each other. They are two different organizations, and even if you have a registration with the New Zealand Nursing Council, that doesn't mean that you will get a job in Health New Zealand or any other employer or aged care in New Zealand. So that is something which I want to tell you that please be mindful that just because you have a registration with the New Zealand Nursing Council doesn't mean you will get a job in anywhere in New Zealand. So please be careful, and then take your decision wisely before coming here at the moment, because there is already thousands of nurses who are struggling to get a job in New Zealand even after coming here and doing all the process. Now, knowing the ground reality of New Zealand, some of the agents, if you ask, they were already New Zealand based, so they should be aware of all the situations. And and the problem is that why they are not sharing this with the applicants, those who are applying for this, those who are on a process of this, why they are not sharing this. That's my biggest concern, because not everyone is lucky enough to get a job. Like, as I mentioned earlier, there are thousands of nurses who are already on the process, who already went back. Just imagine, like, what will be your situation if you come here and ended up getting no job at the end of 9 months, and if you were asked to leave, your agent will say, like, once if you didn't get a job here, you can easily apply to Australia. Now, do you think like it will be so easy for the person who has just come here in New Zealand, just because you have a registration with the New Zealand Nursing Council and no experience of New Zealand? Do you think like Australian Nursing Council or APRA will take you, or do you think like any of the employer from Australia will take you without having any experience of New Zealand? Even though you have a registration with the New Zealand Nursing Council, it is hard to explain, because the agents will just tell the things as per their convenience. But I don't know, at the end it will be the nurses who will be suffering in this process. So my only advice is, this is the ground reality of New Zealand, and if you are not aware, please share this with all your colleagues or your fellow nurses or your or your friends who are on the process, or who are even trying to do the application with one of the agent. Now, the amount of fees that which agent will ask it's a lot, honestly. So to make it clear that your agent has nothing to do with your job. So once you are promised to give a visa, obviously, because without visa you won't be able to come here. So once you come here on a 9th-month visitor visa, you will be asked to go under the OSCE, which will held in Christchurch. And then later on, once you complete and once you get your registration from New Zealand Nursing Council, there is no guarantee that your employer will provide you a job. It will be on your head that you have to look for your own job. So suppose if you are not getting a job within that 9 months, your agent will not care at all, because they just want to get their job done, as I mentioned. So they will say, we did our best, and if you are not finding any job here, that's not our headache. So whatever the money which you have promised to them, you might have to give them, because I have come through one of the agent, and literally I had a roller coaster ride with them. Now I don't want to say like how much the fees they're asking, because it's a lot for especially for the registered nurse who work in overseas. You can literally understand the situation what I'm saying right now, because just getting a payroll of like 30,000, 35,000, or even some lesser than that, 20,000. So with that amount of money, if you ask a lakhs of rupees just for the agent fee, you imagine how much you end up paying them. And at the end, if your job is not done, if you're asked to leave the country without anything, empty-handed, you just imagine like how you would feel going through that situation. So that is the reason why I wanted to bring this up, to make you aware to all the fellow nurses who are at the process of applying this application with any of the agent. Now, with agent, you don't think that if they say, even if they say that they're going to provide you the accommodation will be, I would not say it's easy to get, here, but the amount of accommodation which you will be asked is quite high. So with agent, they will ask anything as per their convenience. All right, so if they ask like you have to pay 300 for one just small bedroom, you will be paying that because you have no idea about how much the rent over here is charged. If they say you will be charged 350, 370, you will have to pay because you have no other way other than going after them, or other than listening to them, because you are new here, you have no idea and anything. So here, whatever they are, you will have to comply with that. That's the biggest nightmare. It can be a very bad experience for you, because I luckily, when I did my cab, even my agent did approach me for the accommodation, for which I completely said like I don't want to go with them. And later on, there were girls who left with them, and they when I had a communication with them later, they shared their experience, and they said like it was a nightmare going with them, because they were just chucked in one of the accommodation where there was no proper supply, the household supplies, and all were like in a big mess. Everything was dirty, so literally they were the one who were cleaning and doing all the stuff, which is totally unfair for anyone who are coming here or who are new here. You've been treated that way. You just imagine how you will feel. So that kind of situation the nurses are going through, you can even imagine like how hard it is to get a job. So you just imagine there are already thousands of nurses in a queue just to get a job. And do you think like being a person who newly came here, you will be given a priority for the job offer? I don't think so. So what will you do when you come here? If you are left with no job, then you will ask to leave after 9 months. Then I don't want to explain the afterwards situation, because we can imagine how bad it will be for the RN. I was also approached by many of my fellow nurses who wants me to make a detailed process with the New Zealand Nursing Council. Now I do wanted to make one from long back, and I've literally wrote down every single aspects of this process. But the problem is like at this stage, I don't want to encourage any overseas nurse come here knowing the reality, and then later on coming here having a hardship problem, and then going through all this nightmare situation. So that is the reason why I was little hesitate to even bring this up or make this video. So imagine the nurses who are already here with the amount of experiences, still they are not willing to take them. Then how can you imagine like doing your application from overseas? They will take you here as a registered nurse. So please be mindful. But if you are getting a job from overseas before coming here, then it's a win situation for you. But if you are not getting a valid job offer from overseas before coming here, then I would suggest like at the moment it is not a right decision coming to New Zealand. So that's why I wanted to bring this up to your notice, that this is the actual situation of New Zealand. And if you don't believe whatever I'm saying, then I can leave the link in the description box, where also the Indian High Commission has warned the registered nurses not to come here without having a valid job offer from any of the employer here. Now honestly, if you apply from overseas, there is like 98% of chances that your application will be rejected. All right, especially the country which I've just mentioned, India or any like Philippines, your application might be rejected just because they don't want to take overseas nurse. Just make sure that you don't end up getting in trouble, because I don't want you to go through all the process which already the nurses are going through. If you still think that you want to get on this process, you want to get this process done, and then I will be happy to explain you the process, the detailed process by yourself without the help of any agent. Now, if you want so that do leave a comment in the description box so that I can, help you to some extent where you can start this process all by yourself. Just make yourself aware about the situation. And so that's it for today's video. But even after explaining all the ground reality, if you have more query or question about this scenario, please do not hesitate to write it down, and I will be happy to help you. If you think that I will not reply, then please don't worry about that. I will try my best to give you an answer of all your question. If you can't reach me here, then please reach me out in Instagram and try to message me. And if I'm free and if I'm not doing anything, then I would be happy to help you answering any question you guys have. So that's it for today's video. And if you do like it, please don't forget to hit the subscribe and like this video so that I can share a more awareness video in my upcoming vlogs. Until then, take care, be safe, and just be mindful of all the situation. And then those who are already tried on this application, good luck for your upcoming journeys. Take care and bye.